Hello, everyone. Welcome to How to Trade. I'm Shane Vernier, and this is NFP Live. Today, we're going to be talking about the US Nonfarm Payrolls report. Huge employment report. We've seen a lot of downward revisions all year long. That's been one of the big stories. We've got active markets. We've got Israel really going after Hezbollah leadership. We've got crude oil on the march north. Got a great message from a trader in the room that said he was already long WTI crude from about $70, $70.50. You know who you are out there, but fantastic trade. That's absolutely great stuff. We're going to start off right there because we had a key level come into play. We got a lot to go over. We got about 10 minutes before the big number drops. We're going to be watching price action here. I'm not necessarily going to have the number first, so when you guys see the number, yell it out in the live chat. Tell me what it is. Personally, I think we're going to come in probably above expectations, but I expect those downward revisions to be huge. So yeah, we got a great poll here. Thank you, Liam. We've got a great poll here going in the trading room. So go ahead and give us your guesses. Let's see exactly what we need to see during this employment report. I think it's going to be a blockbuster, bright and early here in Dillon, Montana. Money never sleeps, everybody. Money never sleeps. Honestly, just sort of, I should have been up about another 2 hours earlier and nailed this WTI trade, but it was a beautiful one. Let's get right out to price action. You can see right here, monthly chart on U.S. oil. We outlined this yesterday. Look at that 50% retracement. Absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. 74.92. Now, I'm not a 50% trader. I've said that for the last 3 years. I've been very consistent with that ever since I've been on these live streams. I don't like 50%, but a monthly level right at 75, you got to take it. You got to take that short. Good to see you out there on YouTube. Okiri, good to see you. Bobby Bob, always a pleasure. Mark Corp, Wizard Alvin, Dibble, everybody's in the room. Liam, good to see you. I mean, I think we're ready to go here. This was a great trade, and if you got this trade, this is one of those where I don't wish I'm in London very often. But if I would have been in London, I would have nailed this trade because I would have been awake. Let's go right down to a 30-minute chart. I'll show you what I mean. And there it is right there. Beautiful. I mean, that's that horizontal resistance zone. What happens? We get the big penetration. You get sort of that. It's not really a hammer, but that's a 30-minute hammer. And that's sort of a reversal signal. So you got an inverted hammer, hanging man, whatever you want to call it. And then you got the big sell-off coming right now in front of NFP. This is an interesting crude oil market, guys. Full disclosure, I've pretty much exclusively traded crude all this week. It's been a good week. It's been a good week. A lot of volatility, a lot of big levels come into play. But I always want to start off with oil because that's one of my specialties. I hope you guys got in on some of this action this week. Absolutely great stuff. How do we trade it now? Very simple. Stick with your monthly numbers. Down there, 72.66. Bullish above 72.66. And then we're probably, I'm not even really bearish at this point, but I'm just looking to trade. It's $1.20 off of our entry. I'd be looking to bid down there on NFP. We could definitely get it. Supercharged news cycle, crude oil has been the mover and shaker of the week. So I want to start right there. If you need an out or if you need a place to trade, switchmarkets.com is the place to go. It's where traders come to trade. You can click the link below if we have a link. I'm not really necessarily sure if we do or not. In any case, NFP is going to be the story probably of the entire trading day. You're going to hear a lot about NFP. You're going to hear a lot of NFP. You're going to hear it from the White House. You're going to hear it on CNBC. You're going to hear it among traders. So we're going to run through it real quick. I'm going to give you a brief primer if you're brand new to the markets, and then we're going to get right out to price action. I've got the US 500, a key level there we got to watch. Euro USD. We're going to run that 9 EMA on a 1-minute ES chart, 1-minute E-mini S&P 500 futures chart. That's huge. And then we're going to look at gold, and then the Aussie CAD. There's some big stuff happening in the Aussie CAD. That gives us some diversification specifically, so we're not tied. Our fate isn't tied to the US dollar. So NFP, what is it? Well, I mean, basically, it's just your employment number. It's the number of workers in the United States, farming, private household, unincorporated business owners, nonprofit, and active military sectors are included. 80% of the American workforce is what we get with the NFP figure. It's one of the biggest movers and shakers. Here's how you read an NFP report. Remember, everything we do is based on relative analysis. So this number, I don't care what it comes in at, the markets are going to react according to what it was previously and what the markets expected it to be. We're going to go over those expectations in just a second. Now, when the number does come in, if it's above expectations, that's going to be bullish for the USD. That's going to mean that, hey, maybe we can keep interest rates where they are at, or maybe we could even hike interest rates because we're in an expansion cycle. If it's below expectations, it's going to be bearish for the USD. Expect weakness versus the FX majors. Why? Because it means we're going into a recession, economic contraction's possible. So what we're going to try to do there is cut rates, flood the market with US dollars, and that's going to prop up the economy essentially. How does NFP impact equities and commodities? It's different. If it's above expectations, that's going to be bearish. Why? Because that money supply is more than likely going to tighten. That's tougher. That means it's going to take it's going to take more money realistically to get in there and make the plays that investors need to make, and that money may not be readily available. So that's going to really hurt people that are buying stocks, maybe risk assets in general. But it's also going to be bullish if it's below expectations, and that's kind of what most of us think. I think it's going to come in hot just because we're in political season. But if it's a below expectations and we can see a really bad number, unemployment ticks higher, then you're going to see bullish action in those risk assets. So what are we expecting today? US Nonfarm Payrolls, ignore the top line from April of 2023. We've been doing this a while, guys. NFP previous, 142,000, projected 147. The unemployment rate is what I'm focused on. 4.2%, that's absolutely huge. Now, historical levels of NFP, really, this goes back to 2000, about 25 years. Pretty good sample set. You'll notice that we pretty much flatline. We've only got a few big moves. Financial crisis of 08, lived that. That was terrible. COVID-19, everybody here lived that. That wasn't good either. You can see, so major dips in the NFP number are rare, but they do signify major I would say bearish undercurrents in pretty much everything. So if we get a real bad NFP number today, look out. We very rarely see it below zero. You can see right there, very, very rare, but it does happen. It's not going below zero today, but who knows? Revisions are going to be the story, guys. Those are the key for 2024. This was last month's revisions. I think that that's going to be the main number one story today and what we're going to focus on. So I'm going to have that going, as well as, pretty much our unemployment rate is going to be the big item to watch. 4.2%. 4% is the Fed's benchmark. Unemployment's running a little bit hot, according to the Fed. And here's your historical levels here, going back to 1948, a little bit before my time. But you can see the peaks and the valleys. Unemployment right now is still historically low. So that's a quick rundown of what NFP is. And, we'll see. We'll see exactly what we get today. I have no idea. I really don't have any idea, but we're going to find out here very, very shortly. Right here, US 500. I had this key level out earlier, 56.24. We're well off the pace of that. I'm going to have that up on my chart. I think it's going to come into play probably next week. I'm a buyer. I'm still a buyer of stocks right now until we see a major correction. I think it's a buy. I think we're in a buy. So as long as we're above that 38% threshold, I want to be long rather than short. But take a look at this formation. It's absolutely imperative we understand this. This is compression, guys. Right there. You got it. You got sort of it's not really a hammer, but it's sort of a really wicky lower wick day, whatever you want to call it. Wednesday, big time range. Boom. We're inside of that, and we're inside of that. Back-to-back inside days. That means the market's coiling up, and it's getting ready to blow its top. This release probably is going to move the S&P 500. It's been absolutely Dullsville for most of the week. I think I have one trade. I'm in the E-mini S&P 500 this week, so I'm not really too enthusiastic about this market until it moves. But once it moves, we're going to have an opportunity to buy there. Euro USD, here's a key level that I'm looking at on the daily as well. 38% is going to be 110.84. I'm looking at top side resistance, potentially selling this thing. I think that that's going to be the way to be. I think I want to be short from right around 110.84, right beneath 111. All right, the results of our poll are just in. NFP predictions, 121 to 140,000. Got 36% of the action. And let's see what 141 to 160,000, 64%, and then greater than 161, 0. So we're really looking for that median value somewhere between 121 and 160. So, we're watching that. We're watching that closely. I think that we're probably going to get something that's a little bit hotter. If I had to guess, it's going to be a little bit hotter just because it's political season. In any case, that's how I want to trade the Euro USD. Let's go to a 4-hour chart and sort of bring that in a little bit. We've got 2 minutes to go. What do you got right here? Absolute compression. Why? Why do we have compression? We have compression because we're getting ready for a key release. Take a look at the last, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 hours. You're trading inside of Thursday's 7 a.m. range on that 4-hour Euro USD chart. So I'm going to go to my dailies there. We're going to watch that. Gold, it's not a party without gold. Let's see. We've got about, what do we got, 30 seconds left here? All right, let's do it. Gold is going to be definitely bullish, guys. Absolutely bullish. Compression right in front of our all-time highs. Very, very tight week. I expect that energy to be released right now on this news item. Natural resistance at 27.50. If I was long from, say, down in 23 or 25, I'm looking for 27.50 to the top side. Let's get right down to brass tacks here. Show you a nice level that I would be keying on here during this release. 26. We got to buy above right down there at 26 if we can get it. As far as your 4-hour chart goes, it's an absolute mess. Let's go to a 1-minute chart. We should be dropping. Okay, there's the number. What happened? All right, we've got a big sell-off. What's the number? Anybody got it? Does anybody got it? I'm going to go ahead and refresh right up here, see if I can get my numbers. That's a major correction in gold. So what am I thinking? 254,000. Liam comes in, 254,000. It is clearly a political season. There's absolutely no way that you got that kind of job creation that beat the expectations by that much. We'll unpack more of that at the U.S. mid-session brief. It is political season. That means the election's on the way, and the jobs numbers have to look rosy. You're going to get a release out of the White House. You're going to have pretty much everybody in the current administration spiking the football on that release. 254,000 is absolutely ridiculous. What happened to the unemployment rate? Does anybody have the unemployment rate? That's unbelievable. Unemployment rate came in, so it actually fell to 4.1%. All right, well, I'm not going to say there's some chicanery there, but you've got the gold right here. The question right now becomes, do we want to sell this thing or do we want to buy it? I'm looking to sell pullbacks. This is clearly a huge beat. This is going to be one of those things for U.S. stocks that's not necessarily going to be overly great. But right here, I'm on a 1-minute chart. I'm stalking gold. I'm looking to sell pullbacks. Can we get a pullback right from the top of my NFP range is going to be the key. So right there, you could sell 26.45s right now if you wanted to. You got to be shooting for a couple of bucks though to manage that risk because there's a lot of risk right there. Bryn 98. No way is that an accurate number. It's absolutely terrible. There's absolutely no way that number is accurate. I'm sorry. I'm calling shenanigans on it. We have not seen that kind of growth in the jobs market this year. I'm looking for downward revisions. We're going to look at the report here in a second, and I'm going to go ahead and see if we can find out what exactly is going on here because I got to put my thinking cap on for this one. That one blew me away. Absolutely huge overperformance. I'm not just going to say it's an outright lie, but that's absolutely ridiculous. In any case, right there, we can sort of see this market base and this gold market base. And how about our US 500? Okay, there's your pop to the top side. What that basically means is that, okay, we're in an expansion mode. All of a sudden, traders want to get in on the bullish action. Personally, I think that this is going to be a correction. Be very careful if you're trading U.S. equities. Take a look at what we've got right here. Now, this is sort of a look at our 9 EMA strategy. If we were going to do this, you would have been long. This is a 1-minute chart right here, right here. So this is 1 minute. Personally, I wanted to execute a pullback. For me, I'm not really too interested in holding longs here. So what I'm going to wait for is I'm going to wait for a bearish close. I'm going to wait for a bearish close on one of these 1-minute bars. This is a 9 EMA, basic 9 EMA strategy. I'm going to wait for a sell-off and then a pullback. And if we get that, I'm going to sell from there. And I'm going to show you how to execute that in real time. Personally, I would be very surprised if we're going to be long. Now, if you already executed this 9 EMA, remember your strategy here. As soon as you got a break above that moving average, then you just get long. Now you're holding longs. I think it's high risk. I don't think I would be doing it. All right, this right here is sort of what we want to see now. I want to see a bearish candle on a close, and then I'm going to be looking to sell this market at market. We're going to probably put our stop loss right up above that NFP range and try to ride this thing perhaps for the rest of the day if we're fortunate, and that's using a 1-minute chart. Can I get away with trades like this? It's high risk, but it's also got to be high reward. So if we put a trade on like this, we've got to get paid for our effort. I'm going to go ahead and more than likely place this thing as soon as we get an opportunity. But this is a 1-minute E-mini S&P 500 chart. As you can see by the trading DOM, it's incredibly active right now, tremendous amount of volume in the market. But hey, maybe the long side's the right way to be. I mean, you could certainly bid this thing. Personally, bidding right there would have been a challenge. You could do it. I'm waiting for a bit of a correction, though. I don't really want to be long necessarily on this initial release because I'm not believing that the market's going to hold this up. Remember our fundamentals here. When NFP comes in and shatters expectations to the top side, that potentially signals strength for the U.S. dollar and hawkish action from the Fed. Now, in this case, we're in a rate cut cycle, all right? That means that we're not going to raise interest rates, but what we might do is maybe, just maybe, we won't cut them as much as we were, or we'll hold those things static. So that's absolutely huge to understand that. No, does this mean rate hikes? No, it doesn't. But what it does mean is it means that maybe we're not getting those half-point rate cuts that everybody in the world wants, especially Bank of America that has to shore up their balance sheets. That's a conversation for another time. Let me see. I got a question here. Hi, Shane. Can you please look at the Euro Australian dollar? Yeah, we're going to get into some diversification here in a minute, Kalani. I think that it's important to be able to spread out your liabilities during a release like NFP. You don't want everything. You don't want as the old guys say, the wagon. You don't want your wagon tied to the U.S. dollar. You want to be able to get in and out. So right here, I mean, if we were long, we're making money. Personally, I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm not buying this move yet, but definitely going up here. Let's see, gold. We would have loved to have got our gold trade down about 26. Have that on your radar. It could happen. That pullback right there should have been money in the bank. High right there was 26.44.90, 26.45. Remember, we shade our entries a little bit. That was an easy clean for a couple of bucks. Definitely trend trading right now. We're just not really sure how this thing's going to develop. Let's go to our Euro USD. We didn't get our pullback. We were on the opposite side of this trade, and we didn't get our pullback. There looks to be a key level in play right now, though. Let's go ahead and check it out. Okay, it's not going to be on the weekly. This is going to be a monthly level. Let's go ahead and have a look. All right. Monthly level in play right now, 109.80. So the real question is, there's heat on this market right now. That was a major market driver for the U.S. dollar. That really suggests that you're going to get some strength. That huge NFP beat. Right now, the DXY, the dollar index, is up 0.5%. I don't think it's going to last, guys. I really don't think it's going to last. I think this is what they call a fugazi. It means it's sort of a fake out. It's going to take a lot of people's money. But listen, if you're on the right side of these moves right now, feel free to take some profit. Our U.S. Open, our U.S. Cash Open is going to bring a much different scenario to the table, even though our equities futures right now are just banging higher. Right here, though, this pullback in the Euro USD. Do I want to be long or short? I want to go long. Let's go ahead and buy the market and see what happens. That's about as high a risk trade as you can place. It's high. Why would I make that trade? I've got a key level in play, 109.80. We're trading right around 78. I think we've got a good chance to stabilize, maybe back up there right around 110. Could be a very good trade. Now, right now, it's already starting to pay some dividends. Remember, these are demo dollars. The white dom that I bring up is real money. Anything on TradingView's demo dollars, that's not a bad long, though. Let's go to a 1-minute chart and see what price action's doing in the micro sense. I mean, that's exactly what you're looking for, especially if you're scalping. The jury's still out. It really remains to be seen whether this level holds. That was a tremendous number. We may get some trend continuation here. Personally, I think we're going to eat into this range right up in here. I'm looking for probably a profit target, a nice bump up to 110 at least. Where would my stop loss be? Well, down there, my low is right around 109.64. I'm going to have to let this one bleed a little bit. We're going to let this one sort of go. I'm going to watch it and manage it on the fly. I don't have a set stop loss necessarily. I'll know when the pain gets pretty bad, and that'll be down around probably 109.50 then. I'll start considering when to get out. That's a mental stop. When you've traded for a decade, you can use mental stops. If you're a beginner, I recommend having a stop loss in the queue just in case something crazy happens. Let me see right here. Unknown user, regards from Germany. Chill stream. Thanks, unknown user. Absolutely love it. Thank you for joining us. Let's see right here. I'm watching this closely. Let's get back up to our ES trade. Well, I mean, I shouldn't have bucked the strategy. I was waiting for it to develop in my way. I still am, but you're definitely up. You're definitely up. So if you bought your 9 EMA, theoretically, you could have bought it going into the release, which was crazy. But more than likely, you're long from right here in this E-mini S&P 500 trade. So if you look to get that rally, I mean, you got it. It worked. The question is where do you want to be going into the U.S. session? Do you want to be long or short? I would probably recommend taking some of that money off if you've got a big stack going. Right here, let's go with gold. Gold now sort of rallying, cutting into this range. That's sort of what I expect to happen with that Euro USD chart. I expect us to cut into this 1-minute bar. Remember, when you get a big move like that, the market's what we call the chain is sort of thin. It means that there's not a ton of punters. There's not a ton of traders at each and every price point. That means these price points that got caught up in this sweep haven't really been fully vetted. They haven't been debated yet. So it's one of those deals that I think we're going to see probably a buyback and a rally in gold. If you got that low, great. I would absolutely love this thing to crash and come down to 2,600, and then we can just go in there with stacks full of cash. and get after it. All right, let's do a little diversification tool. Let's get away from the U.S. dollar. This Aussie CAD is one of these that I absolutely love to trade. Absolutely love to trade the Aussie CAD. We had a trade idea out right there from 2024's highs, a short. I'm going to go over that at the U.S. mid-session brief. That one came out last week. It was a pretty darn good trade. If I'm looking to bid, I'm bidding this long-term level from 91.80-ish, 91.85. That could be great. But let's take a look at what's happened to the Aussie CAD since the NFP release. So it really does go to show that, even NFP, even the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar shook it up. Why? Because it's a commodity pair. Gold drives the Australian dollar. Crude oil drives the Canadian dollar. Put them together, what do you got? You got price action. So if I'm looking to trade this, personally, I'm going right down to my daily, and I'm going to see what the daily price action looks like. And it looks to me like you got a nice bearish break. Do I want to be a buyer or a seller here? Personally, I would buy it. Why would I buy it? It's tough to go against crude oil right now, but I have a feeling that the top's in for WTI crude on the day. Gold, I think gold's probably going to rally right back to where we were during NFP. I could be completely wrong, just a gut feeling, but you could definitely get in there and go hard. If you wanted to trade it, Aussie CAD, you go ahead and buy market, send them. See what happens. You'll notice my leverage is much smaller on that because I didn't plug anything in there. But just a long position from here. Is it great trade location? Not really. You're about 13 pips from where you needed to be. But if you wanted to take a swing trade to the bull, that's not a bad area to do it from. Let me see. Trailing my stop loss on the USD Japanese yen. Yeah, we're going to look at the dollar yen here in a second. We had a request for the the Euro Aussie. Yeah, let's go right for the Euro Aussie while we're talking about the Australian dollar. All right, you can see I haven't looked at this pair in quite some time. The daily, pretty good wave right there, nice big sell-off, and now you've sort of got the buyback. And now what could we expect to have happen? Is it a buy or a sell? Let me see. You're making me panic, not going to lie. I wouldn't panic. There's no reason to panic. This is fun. This is action. As long as you got your stops down, your leverage in check, you can trade anything. You can trade anything. In any case, right there, 161.25. I would wait for today to set up on that Euro Aussie, but that doji right there could really signal some bearish continuation. It really just depends on what happens in the gold market. Remember, if gold does rally, you're probably going to be in a position to grab that short because it's going to drive value against the euro. So it's one of those things that you could definitely get in on to the short side. Let me see right here. Unknown user, can you explain how you trade it usually? I trade since I'm 18. Now I turned 32, so 14 years on and off. Learned a lot. Despise CFD market makers. Always trade the DAX 40. Well, you got to do what you got to do. If this is a clear short, after the market moves, it's a clear short. Personally, for me, my technicals show that this trend right here is still incredibly valid. If I was going to be trading this, I would be on the short side of it as well, just because I don't necessarily know if you're going to get that huge rally or kick up into that 162 area somewhere in there. Let's go and check in on our E-minis. Are we getting our pullback yet? Nope. That thing's going to the moon. So the 9 EMA looks like we're going to challenge those highs. That 9 EMA strategy worked like an absolute charm. Your entry right here would have been right there, and you're really rallying. You could take your pick. Your stop loss would have been right here, which really wasn't that bad. I was waiting for the short side, though. Still am. I think you're going to get the buyback in there, so it's going to be one of those deals. So that's what I'm looking at. Let me see. Unknown. Are you short? Nope, I'm not short. Not anything right now. Just sort of waiting. I'm going to be trading the U.S. Open, though, I can tell you that. And here comes gold. Gold's coming off again. So once again, 2605-ish, 2607 could be the play in gold. If you do see this gold market crash, then this Euro Aussie, you got to really watch yourselves. You don't want to get chopped up. That Australian dollar will respond to gold all day long. So if you're trading the Aussie, be very, very careful. You're going to be tied to that gold market whether you like it or not. So watch that closely. Euro USD, we're sort of behind right here. We took this long, pretty good compression right there, but you're starting to see the market fall away now. Like I said, we're going to give this a little bit of time. I'll update you on the US mid-session brief on how this one's going, but I like my long-term levels. I would be shocked if the market absolutely blows up in our face here. Just got to wait and see how it pans out. But for me, 11 o'clock my time, 1 p.m. Eastern, I'll be back. We'll unpack and update on some of these trades. If you made a lot of money, if you made a lot of money right now off of this NFP release, be sure that you put some of it away. Like if you took this 9 EMA on this E-mini S&P 500 and you're way up, you're up a few grand right now, put it in your pocket. There's nothing wrong with putting it in your pocket. All right, we got to check in with U.S. oil, though. I thought that was fantastic action. And what do you have? I mean, that area right there, that monthly area on this U.S. oil CFD was beautiful. 75 sells. I think most of the world got that. It was fairly obvious. Big round number, 75, 50% retracement. That was beautiful. What are we looking to do now? Remember, what once was resistance is now support. I'm bullish above 72.64. I'm looking probably to buy 72.75s. We did that yesterday. I think you do it again here. Do we get a chance? Yeah, there's going to be more volume flooding into the crude oil market in about 15 minutes on that 9 a.m. traditional NYMEX open. You're going to want to do that. So I'm watching that relatively closely, looking to bid WTI crude. News cycle, that's big. Theoretically, this is a bearish market driver for crude oil. The ideas being that you're not going to get maybe those big rate cuts. I don't know. We're going to see. All right, guys, looking at the fundamentals of what happened today. Interesting stuff. This is your employment report. This is the full Monty, Friday, October 4th. That's us. Total non-farm payroll employment increased by 254,000 in September, and the unemployment rate changed little at 4.1%, a drop from 4.2. So this is interesting. We've got a Hurricane Francine. That's not really the hurricane that they're worried about right now, but take a look at this right here. This is what I want to know. Last paragraph of this report. This is what we want to know. This is what I'm interested in right here. I haven't read it yet. Let's read it. The change in total non-farm payroll employment for July was revised up by 55,000 from 89,000 to 144, and the change for August was revised up by 17,000 from 142 to 159. With these revisions, employment in July and August combined is 72,000 higher than previously reported. Monthly revisions result from additional reports received from businesses and government agencies since the last published estimates. So you're telling me that after this report came out, non-farm payroll growth revised down by 818,000, Labor Department says. This report came out in August, crashed the markets. Remember, we were there, we traded it. It was an epic report. Came out of nowhere. Nobody was ready for it. So you're telling me after all this bad press that came out last month, we're doing this now? We're revising those same numbers up? Listen, this isn't a political stream, but it's an election year. And as an active trader, you better be ready. You buckle up. All I'm saying is buckle up. October is going to be a great time to trade. Anytime we see this kind of chicanery and fudgery of the numbers, you're going to be getting huge volatility. That's going to set the table for some great trading activity for us. So when I see a figure like that and a number like that, there's one of two things, guys. Either people are completely drunk over there and they don't know how to count jobs, or they're sort of shading things to a certain narrative. Remember, the BLS is a government agency. Theoretically, they probably have a vested interest in the next administration. These numbers are ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Nobody believes that. Be ready. Be ready for the big correction on the markets. Be very careful with this. If you made a lot of money to the futures, to the upside, especially in your E-mini S&P 500, I mean, this thing's going to the moon right now. We've taken out that NFP high. We're going higher. Take a look at your dailies. Pull your daily up. All-time highs. This is bullish, bullish, bullish. I'm gonna, you buy it until you can't buy it anymore. But be ready. Be ready, especially like let's say a 30-minute chart. Don't be surprised if this is the top of the day. We take a peek up here and then sell off. Be careful with this. If you made a lot of money, keep it. Keep it. That U.S. Open in T-minus 45 minutes is going to be a very different story. So be careful with this. As far as this stuff right here, like I said, I'm not a political analyst. I'm not going to say much else about it, but I will tell you right now, nobody's buying this. Nobody's buying it, and I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. CME Fed Watch, that's what this is all about. Let's go ahead and refresh our page. T-minus 34 days. I'll have FOMC live locked and loaded and ready for you. But your target rate probabilities for the 7th of November meeting, this is why right now you're seeing the U.S. dollar sort of put on a show, is you're now at 89.6, 90% that we're going to have only a quarter point rate cut, whereas this was a 50-50 chart just a little while ago. So this is one of those things that I would be very careful with. these interest rate expectations, that's going to go back down, I would imagine. And then where do we end the calendar year? Going into New Year's Eve, what do we got? Probably about 2 quarter-point rate cuts is what we're expecting by New Year's Eve. Do we get it? I don't know. Where are we at by next December? That's sort of what I'm looking at. Look at where we believe that the interest rates are going to go, down around 3%. That's what the consensus believes, 3%. So when I look at something like this, I say, wow, we're going to cut rates down to nothing essentially. Again, I don't think that's the responsible thing to do, but it doesn't matter what I think. Look what the markets think. Here's your E-mini chart. That one, I'd say that 1 minute 9 EMA was a banger, but look at this. I mean, we're just going up, up, up and away. Personally, I'm going to sell this thing, probably going into the US Open and see what happens. I might get swept out, but my stop loss will be locked in probably right above this NFP bar high. Definitely huge. So that's the story of the day here. U.S. oil coming down, sort of getting a bit of a rally. We're looking to bid right there, 72.75s. Euro USD, this doesn't look good. We're down around 109.65. The dollar still gaining some puff. Remember, these initial moves can be erased, so be very careful sort of with what you got planned for the rest of the day. I don't want to see anybody losing their account. Not today. High expectation, high participation, anything can happen. Let me see Mark Corp. No, they wouldn't do that, would they? Those books are cooked. Everybody knows those books are cooked. There's no question about it. Hey, listen, I'm 45 years old. Those books are cooked. As sure as I'm sitting here, that's a complete fugazi. The press releases from the White House are already written. That's the Ministry of Truth right there. All right, fine, sue me. Gold coming off beautifully. 38% sell would have been fantastic. Let's see right here. Let me see. Cute Kitty. Which app or website do you like to trade? Howtotrade.com. Go by. It's got all your information. We have a partner broker, Switch Markets. Go ahead and check out an account at Switch Markets if you're an international client. If you're in the United States, there's a lot of different brokerages in the United States. We have a partnership with Owanda for U.S. customers. If you're trading forex, if you're a futures trader, come by the trading room, send me a private message, and I'll sort of tell you my experience with several of them. I'm not going to promote or disparage any futures traders, or any futures markets here. Typically, I trade futures though, and that's sort of my bread and butter. Let's go right here. Let's take a look at the E-mini NASDAQ. I mean, this is sort of the banger. Look at that. Look at that. Nice compression right in front of that 38%, that monthly 38, and then just a banger to the top side. Watch those all-time highs, guys. Watch them. I think we get the big push, and then we're going to be starting to look to the short side of these markets after the election. It looks to me like that's probably going to be the way forward. So that's which app or website I trade. Check out How to Trade. Switch Markets has got pretty much everything you need for the forex. If you're an international client, if you're in the United States, Switch doesn't take customers from the U.S. Take a look at Owanda. And if you're not a forex trader, you're a futures trader, go to the website, send me a PM, and I can tell you my experience in several accounts that I have open with a brokerage. Let me see. Jay Brad. Shane, is there a course or module on fibs in the education section? Can't seem to find it. Yeah, it's under the Elite Trading Series. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cursor down. It's past all the courses, and it should be up there just with a generic thumbnail. It's under the Elite Trading Series, and it's called the Fibonacci Counterpunch. That's what I teach. Reach out to me via private message. I also have some links, some YouTube videos that we have out on Fibonacci's, so you can learn all about it. The way that I trade them is a little bit different than the way most people trade them, but you're going to find that when you get a strategy and you build your own strategy, it's going to be different than everybody else's. It's going to be based on a base work, but you're going to tweak it to your own liking. So definitely want to take a look at that. But it's in the Elite Trading Series inside of the Trading Academy towards the end, past the coursework. All right, guys. I'm watching this price action with bated breath. I've got a few trades that I'm looking at here. As far as this NQ action, I mean, it's the stocks are to the moon. Be very careful. Let's go US dollar, Japanese yen. There's your 1 minute chart. Bang, bang, bang. Let's go right to let's see what's going on in the macro sense. I always like the view from 10,000 feet. Key level. So let's say you're trading the yen, you're up there right around 148.53, 38%. This is a huge zone. This is a huge zone right here, an absolutely huge zone, 148.15-ish. As long as you're above that, you kind of have to be bullish. But if you do sell off and maybe get a daily close beneath 148 today, be careful because this market could definitely retrace. Remember, we're seeing that initial flood of action based on the fact that we had a huge NFP number. We have a monster NFP number. and that has skewed our interest rate expectations, tapered them down to a successive quarter point cuts in November, December. That's huge. CPI next week, that's going to be huge. So what would I be if I was trading the yen? I think if you're long, you're darn sure on the right side of it. This area is huge. 148. You're up at 148.50 though. You already took this zone out. For me right now, if I'm scalping, I can write down. Give me a 5-minute chart. Let's pull a 5-minute. Yeah, see, we already missed it. I mean, it's always just $1 late. But in any case, boom, boom. You pull back right to that key zone, and then you moved higher. This 5-minute, let's go to a 30-minute. What do you got on the 30-minute? Beautiful 30-minute, nice big NFP bar. What would you be doing here? I'm working off that NFP bottom, that spike bottom all day long. I would love to see some bullish extension and maybe give me an opportunity to buy right there. That would sort of convince me that this bearish trend's over, at least on the monthly. But right now you're seeing the monthly shorts get really washed out of this market. Huge volume, big time number. That's the catalyst for a significant move here in your dollar yen. So something to think about there. Absolutely, Jay Brads, you're welcome. Trend Rider killed it for me, Gaming Chronicler. Right on. If you killed it, you killed it. Trend Rider's a great strategy. Connor's our local specialist on the Trend Rider. He's out for the next week or so on vacation. I think he took off to the beach, which is always a good thing to do when you get the chance. So all the best to Connor. He's out. So I'm going to sort of pull in double duty next week. Make sure you check your streaming schedule. It's going to be different pretty much every day. I'm going to do 2 streams a day, but we're going to spread them out. We're not going to do them like last time where they were the same times every day. We're going to spread them out throughout the day. We're going to do a few that face the Asia Pacific session as well because we do have some clients down in Australia. All right, last market of the day, silver. What do you got for silver? Big time sell-off. We really were cruising to the top side on silver. Do I want to buy the dip? Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go to a monthly and see what's going on. Getting very wicky. John Wick. Getting wicky. That's not good. What is that? What do all these big wicks show up at the top? Somebody's keeping a lid on the market. If I was I listen to several silver brokers that say you've got to have silver, you got to have silver, you got to have silver. And I go, that's great. But if somebody's artificially keeping a lid on the market, I'm buying it when they're gone. That's what the wicks tell you. It means you got a nice big public run up and then somebody hits that thing with a hammer like playing whack-a-mole. And right there, your silver market's coming down. If you wanted, I get this a lot. Shane, how come you're looking at monthly and weekly charts? Are you an investor? I go, not necessarily. I want to know market state and I want to have my key macro levels, my anchor points. Anchor point right there is about 31, something like that would be a fantastic buy. Let's go to a weekly. Yeah, this is even better. Spike low right from that sort of swing low right there. Swing low to a swing high. Oh, yeah. 30.75-ish. 30.80. 30.85. That's the bid. So essentially, I want to buy pullbacks in silver and gold. I would love this gold pullback to get real ugly. Yeah, it is. It's starting to get a little bit dirty now. All right, let's go to our daily. Beautiful sell on that 1-minute chart, though. The dailies, not good. I have a 13-period EMA right here. If you wanted to go long gold, it's not a bad area. Would I go long gold? No. Why? Let's hope this gets if this gets real ugly, which is sort of what I'm hoping for. Big sell-off in gold. If we get it, I mean, I'm down there at 2607.50 with handfuls of money. If we get a shot at that pullback, it's a winner. We just got to get the pullback. So that's basically my game plan for today. All right, guys, I've rambled on long enough at you. I want to thank everybody for joining us for NFP Live. Blockbuster number. It is a election year. If anybody comes to me, if I get a call from CNBC going, Shane, what do you think of today's number? Or Business Insider, what do you think of today's NFP number? I'm going to say, well, there's lies and there's lies. I won't call it a lie, but I'll definitely call it maybe cooking the books a little bit. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I'll be back for the U.S. mid-session brief. I always like letting these things settle. Full disclosure, I won't be trading much here over the next hour, so I want to watch these markets set up. We know we've got a real firm high up there on that NFP high. I think that's going to be fantastic. Maybe even build some shorts here in the next hour and a half. I'm not buying this big bullish move at all, not even a little bit. Gold, would love it if commodities fell out of bed. We've got a bid in crude oil. We've got a bid in gold on the board. We've got a bid in silver. Euro USD sort of falling down around 109.60. We're already long from right up around the 75 area. So I'm waiting for the US dollar to give back some of these gains. I don't buy this. I don't think this puff's going to last at all. We'll wait and see what happens. All right, everybody. Mark Corp, Dibble, Bobby, Bob. Everybody, thank you for joining me today. We'll be back during the US mid-session brief. Trade the action well, and we'll see you soon.